Hey guys, this is Samir for Digit.in, and today Samsung has announced the launch of two Gear S2 smartwatches. There is one, of course, which is a classic, and one is the standard Gear S2. The classic, of course, has a more retro feel to it. The one in our hands is the more sporty one. Now, getting the price out of the way, the Samsung Gear S2 is priced at 24,300 rupees, and the Gear S2 Classic is priced at 25,800 rupees. Coming to the specifications, it has a 1.2-inch circular Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 360 pixels by 360 pixels. On the other specifications front, it has a dual-core 1 GHz processor. It's running on the Tizen operating system, which is Samsung's own and not Android Wear. It has 4 GB of built-in storage, 512 MB of RAM, and the standard suite of fitness tracking apps and sensors. It also has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.1, NFC, and is about 11.4 mm in thickness and weighs about between 42 and 47 grams. Now, one of the first things that you will notice with the watch is, of course, that the UI is very different, especially when you compare it to the likes of Android Wear. There are two buttons on the side. The top one, of course, gets us back to the home where you can have your watch face. There are a bunch of watch faces you can choose from, and the bottom, of course, brings up an app drawer. Now, another cool thing is you don't see the flat tire at the bottom of the display like we've seen on other Android Wear devices, and there is this dial which is around the display. It feels quick but not flimsy in a manner of speaking, and it gives you access to all the apps. And if you are someone that doesn't want to navigate through the touchscreen interface, you can always use the wheel to go about it. And it's kind of really interesting. If you've seen the Apple Watch, it has the crown which you can rotate to navigate, and this is kind of a version of that. It's of course on top of the display. It's circular, and as you can see, the apps have a circular listing, and you can keep navigating through a number of pages of apps, which means you can have a large number of apps on this device. Now, speaking of its accuracy when it comes to the sensors or its battery life is something we will comment on once we get the device in for review. But a thing to be noted is that it works with any Android smartphone and not an iPhone or an iOS device. Recently, we've of course seen that Android Wear is compatible with iOS, and it's a bit of a bummer that of course this device isn't, but then again it's compatible with Samsung devices and other Android devices. As you can see, there are a bunch of apps on the watch itself, but nothing that's going to help us get any data because it's not connected to the internet. As you can see, it's going to show you your steps tracked, steps taken, your calendar events, the weather. You can control your music playback, your heart rate, a summary of your fitness. A couple of the representatives out here at the event say that when it comes to sports like golf, tennis, and certain gym exercises, this device is really very accurate. We're going to figure out a way to test that and show it to you. On the display, you can see that you have the S-Voice settings, Buddy app, and the apps. If you click on the apps, you come to the app navigation that we've been scrolling through for a while now. And that's of course the back button, one of the two buttons. Coming to the settings, you have access to a variety of settings of the device. It's relatively lightweight, especially if you compare it to some of the other smartwatches we've seen. It's slightly heavy, which means it feels very sturdy, but it's light at the same time. So there you have it. That was our first look at the Samsung Gear S2, the Tizen-based smartwatch that's compatible with Android devices. And that's what it's going to look like on your wrist. This is of course the sporty version, and there is a classic version available as well.